Time to abandon ship.
Oh no!
Here we go!
Can I persuade you to join us for a drink? It's a tradition.
Here, here.
Jar Jar, homie, my main man, quickly. Before the Separatists attack, get into the escape pod.
Hey! This is escape, then we're the pod.
Welcome back to Star Wars Escape Pod. I'm your host, Josh, and today we got a co-host with us, a new co-host. He's a longtime good friend of mine. His name is AJ. His interest is very much in Star Wars novels. He's been a huge fan for years, and he keeps up on those books like crazy. He's always asking me to get the latest that's on the shelf and sending him the e-copy or whatever. I was also in touch with Iain. He's from the UK. He's a follower on the Twitter feed. If you're not following the Twitter feed, our handle is SW Escape Podcast. And we got in touch with him because I saw him post a picture about his early copy of Star Wars Force Collector, and I was super interested in how he got this copy of the book and asked him if he was willing to come on the show and talk about the book, which he very quickly read in a matter of a couple days. We did have to use the HoloNet to make this call possible because he is a great distance away from where AJ and I are broadcasting from out in space here. So I hope you can enjoy the episode despite the level of quality. It is a bit lower. But thanks again for listening in advance, and let's meet up AJ and Iain.
Another happy landing.
Thanks for coming on, AJ.
No problem.
Yeah, it's your first time on the show. We've had a very long years of friendship, many long years of friendship. How long have I known you now?
Probably since grade 9 or grade 8, high school.
Okay,
So,
yes, definitely like over a decade at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good long while.
Yeah.
And that entire time, were you a Star Wars fan, or did you only really get into Star Wars after I showed you the films at my house the one time? Because I know you'd seen some of them before, like on and off, and then we marathoned them together.
Yeah.
And after that, you kind of became like a solid fan at that point. You
Yeah.
picked up a few of the books in the expanded universe at the time, and that was kind of your introduction to Star Wars. Do you remember what the first Star Wars book you read was?
I do not.
I wish I remembered. It was a while ago.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're known out of all my friends or co-hosts or whatever you want to call it. You are kind of like the only guy that I know in person that has read as many Star Wars books as you have. You've read a lot.
Yes.
Okay, just list off a few of like your top favorites, kind of thing. Yeah, and then if it's expanded universe, just like mention that it is.
Okay. Dark Disciple. I've loved that book. Master and Apprentice was fantastic. The Queen's Bodyguard was surprisingly good. So yeah, those would be my top 3 that I've
Queen's
read.
Bodyguard. Which one's the Queen's Bodyguard?
That I believe it's Queen's Bodyguard.
Queen's Bodyguard. Let me just look this up here. Queen's Bodyguard. I don't. Star Wars?
Yeah.
No, I don't get a book called that. Oh, was it maybe the
Queen's Shadow.
Oh yeah, the new one
Yep.
that just came out. Oh wow,
Yep.
that's one of your favorites, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I still have to read that one.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, well, part of the reason why we're bringing you on the show is mostly to like discuss the world of Star Wars within books, and you don't do a lot of the comics, but we have a guest appearing today. His name's Iain. He's from the UK, and he is, from what I can tell at least, super into all the novels, all the comics. picks them all up as soon as he can. And I'm really looking forward. All week I've been looking forward to talking with this guy because once I saw his picture about this early release of Force Collector, I just had to know about it. And then when I saw his feed, I noticed that he has an entire bookshelf very similar to the one I got going on. Has most of the books in canon available and all the comics and everything like that. So let's give him a call here, shall we? Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Ian.
Hey, it's nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you. You're on with Josh and AJ from Star Wars Escape Pod. How you doing?
I'm all right, mate. You?
Yeah, not bad.
If I'm hard to understand, it's just because I'm English. That's why.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And you're from England, right?
I am, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I actually have a dual citizenship with the UK.
Oh, right.
Yeah, my mom was born over there, so.
Whereabouts?
She was born in the Gloucester area.
Oh, right, yeah. That's down south. I'm in the north.
Yeah, definitely. You can your accent kind of
northern
away a little bit. Yeah, which part exactly?
If I said it was near Newcastle, would you know where that is?
Newcastle. No, I'm not too sure where that is. Is it?
I'm trying to think. It's up Newcastle's the biggest city in the north. I'm about 45 minutes away from there.
Oh, okay. All right.
So around that area.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's cool. How's the weather up there?
Raining. Like always.
Naturally, hey?
Yeah.
Well, we get quite a bit of rain in Vancouver as well, but I don't think anywhere near as the level of rain that you guys get.
No. It's great.
Oh man. Okay, so how did you fall into the Star Wars fandom?
I've been a fan ever since I was a kid. I'm 28 now. I've been a fan ever since before I could remember, and I've just loved it since I was a kid. To be honest.
Yeah. What did you start with?
The original movies.
Yeah. VHS.
Yeah, VHS. I had the gold original trilogy box.
Oh,
that came with the VHS.
Oh, fancy!
Oh,
wow. I know.
Yeah, we had a box set as well, but this is obviously like pre-special edition kind of.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. Those are vintage. Hold on to those, hey.
Oh, will do. Yeah, I mean, mom's got them somewhere, so I'll have to dig them out.
Yeah, totally. I have a VHS from my aunt who gave it to me, who didn't want it anymore, I guess, but. She bought that trilogy. It wasn't the gold trilogy. It was just like the standard box. But she also had VHSs for The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. And the one that The Phantom Menace came in, it was this like special limited edition box with a little snippet of film footage. Now, I highly doubt that it's like original film footage, but it's kind of cool. It's got this little like cardboard plaque with like this a couple slides in it. It's pretty sweet. And then it comes with like an art of Phantom Menace book, so yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Pretty cool, yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like worth holding on to for sure. And
yeah, definitely.
Most kids these days don't even know what a VHS is. So,
no.
Yeah, but I noticed that you read a ton of Star Wars books. Like you really stay on top of it, eh?
I have, yeah. It's the only thing I keep on top of them. Yeah, it's hard at the moment. I've got a few I need to catch up on reading, but I try. But there's only so many hours in the day.
yeah, absolutely. What's the best one that you've read so far?
Canon or Legends?
You know what? Maybe pick your top of both.
Legends is Darth Plagueis. I love that book.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing. And the Darth Bane trilogy for Legends as well. It's anything Sith related, really. I like, but Darth Plagueis for me is my favourite in Legends.
Yeah.
And then in Canon, I don't know, to be fair. I really like Rogue One, Catalyst.
Oh yeah, okay, that's
I really like Catalyst, to be fair.
Yeah, I actually really like that one as well. Yeah,
it added a lot more to Rogue One.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I felt. Now, did that come out before or after the movie? I'm trying to remember.
It came out before. Yeah, it came out.
It came out before. Okay. Yeah. I did my best to read as much as possible before the movie came out, but from what I managed to finish before the movie came out, it did link up pretty well because that whole opening sequence with Urso and on the planet when he's trying to get away and everything. I thought that was
credit saves him.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
added a whole lot to that story. But AJ, do you read Catalyst, right?
Yeah, I've read it. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's certainly been a while. Yeah.
I probably haven't read it since Rogue One came out. Like,
Yeah. Oh well, there's so much, right? Like every
Yeah.
year they just pump out enough to not
Yeah.
leave time to go back.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But yeah. So what do you? How do you have a lot of time, or like what do you do for work?
I work for a big plumbing company in the UK. They're basically loading the lorries, unloading the lorries, and doing all that sort of stuff.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
it keeps me kind of busy. I don't really enjoy it, but it pays the bills. That's about it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, out of your bookstore now, because I saw your tweet earlier last week, and I was super surprised at this. But
Yeah.
your bookstore mistakenly shipped you an early copy of Star Wars Force Collector, which is on shelves November 19th, which is like a month from today, and it's written by Kevin. Is it Kevin Shinnick?
Kevin Shinnick, yeah.
Okay, and it's part of the Journey to the Rise of Skywalker lineup of books. That's it's going to be on shelves and whatnot. So, like, how did this even happen? Like, how did your bookstore just mistakenly ship you an early copy? Like, it's like a month away. I didn't even think that the bookstores would have copies yet.
I never knew this, but apparently it's available in the UK. It's available in the UK now.
Apparently. Oh, no kidding! Wow.
Yeah, they released it in the UK. I don't know why they do this. The books are very weird because sometimes, like, I only got Spark of Resistance the other day, and that's been out in America for a little while. And then this has got released on October 4th in this country.
Oh wow!
Which is weird. It's a bit weird.
Oh, very strange. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people over here like itching to find out what's in this book, because when I found out that it was written by an Emmy Award-winning author, I was really curious about it. So, like, what did you think of the book?
I really enjoyed the book. As it goes into the Rise of Skywalker, I'm not sure how it connects with the Rise of Skywalker, but as a story by itself, it's a really good read, and it connects with every part of Star Wars, really, like the TV shows, the Clone Wars TV show, and then the movies. It goes right across the Skywalker saga. But as for how it goes into the film, I'm not quite sure about that part.
Oh,
They do visit one of the planets. One of the planets that is going to be in the Rise of Skywalker. They do visit that planet. But other than that, I'm not sure how it connects, to be fair. But it is a really good read. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good, because a lot of those spin-off books with random characters, I've actually been quite surprised about how good they are compared to the ones that we get with familiar characters.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. If you know what I mean. Like, there's a few books I've been like, oh yeah, Luke Skywalker's in this book, and then I just pick it up and I'm like, oh man, like, what is this? Yeah. That Legends of Luke Skywalker book was kind of a disappointment for me. I struggled with that one.
I enjoyed it for what it was, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like, sometimes, like, you're like, did this happen or did it not happen? Like.
Yeah, and it was just I don't know, it was cool for what it is, like exactly how you put it. Like, it's supposed to be kind of a myths and legends sort of ordeal, but yeah, for a story that I expected to hear a bit, I don't know, a bit more inclusive of Luke Skywalker, it sometimes felt very convoluted of the different little tales that people were telling about him. And I don't know. There was a few. There was like one or two in there that I actually like struggled to like get through, because it was just not as entertaining as some of the other stuff in the book world, I guess. For Star Wars. But,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's hard to live up to like the expectations of some of the old those EU books.
Yeah, definitely. One of the legends in that book, in the Legends of Luke Skywalker, is actually, there's a callback to it in this novel. Like, there was actually like one of the one about him pulling Star Destroyers down from the sky on Jakku. That's one of the legends of him when the main character is trying to find out what went on with the Jedi and all that type of stuff.
What happens to lead you to that exploration in the book kind of thing? Like, does the character like get told this, or
the main character? His name's Car. His name's Car, and he has the same ability that Quinlan Voss had.
Psychometry. Yeah.
Yeah, so he has that same ability. And at the start of the book, he's trying to find his way, and he has a relationship with his grandmother. It goes through the book the whole way, And she's telling him no, because originally when he has these visions and he thinks there's something wrong with him, like something medically wrong with him or something like that. But his grandma keeps telling him, no, it's you have the Force and that. So so then he goes on a journey all across the galaxy to planets that we've seen, some planets we haven't seen, seeing items, and that tells him the story of the Jedi and the whole way through.
Oh, very cool. So what does he pick up that you get to see that scene of Luke?
He doesn't see that scene of Luke. He goes to a bar on the Obadiah, which is the Pike home world, and a freighter pilot tells him that story. Yeah, but he doesn't see that. But there's tons of things he picks up that tells you stories about certain things that have happened, and you see certain things that have happened in the films from a different angle.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, now I've been curious about this. Does Vader's lightsaber ever show up?
No, it doesn't. No.
No. Okay. Is there anything that really popped out that I was like, oh wow, like I didn't expect that to show up?
I'm trying to think. They go to the Obadiah and they call back to the Clone Wars where they go to Cypher Dyas's ship that got crashed in the Clone Wars
that's
thing.
right. Yeah.
And they go to that crash site and he finds a communicator, and it's a message from Cypher Dyas, and it tells him this is the reason why I created the Clone War, the Clone Army, and all that type of stuff. That kind of surprised me. Okay. I didn't think they'd go into Cypher Dyas and all that type of stuff, which I really enjoyed.
Oh wow, that's actually that's crazy. Because Plo Koon was there with a bunch of clones, and he picked up the lightsaber in the crashed ship, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So if he had found that communicator, that would have drastically changed the story as we know it.
Yeah, he doesn't mention the Sith in the message. Cypher Dyas. To be fair, the message gets cut off halfway because he's doing the message as the ship's crashing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then he doesn't mention the Sith or who. But he probably wouldn't have known who the Sith were and how he was being manipulated.
Yeah. Oh man, that's super interesting. I was talking about this with AJ yesterday. Ironically enough.
Yeah.
What was I saying again?
We were just talking about Cypher Dyas and how they hadn't, from what we had known, explained how or why he was being used by the Sith or whatever.
Yeah, they haven't really explained that yet. I was hoping they'd get into that in DOOKU, JEDI Lost. But which I love that. I love that story. But yeah, they didn't really explain why. But it's a bit early in the book, isn't it? To be fair.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's. I actually just finished JEDI Lost. I think it was about a week and a half ago now.
Oh, it's so good. I loved it.
AJ's about to jump into it, but. He's not too concerned on spoilers because I kind of give him the rundown of what it was, knowing really that we might actually talk about it. But how did you like that one?
Oh, I really liked it. Yeah, I like Kevin Scott, the author, and but I really enjoyed. I listened to the audio drama first because that was the only way to listen to it, and then I've got the book now, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. It was good to see the reasons why he left the Jedi Order.
Yeah,
and that type of thing, and the straw that eventually brought the camel's back.
Yeah, that was super cool to read. Did you notice that his name is based off of that creature or something? Dooku's, that is his Sith name, Tyrannus.
Is that what? I've never picked that one up, to be fair.
Tyrannus. That big creature thing at the very end of the book, the one that in the beginning he kind of like awakens.
Oh yeah.
What's that called again? I'm struggling to remember the name. It was some strange dinosaur sounding name.
I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, it was Tyrantitis or something like that. It was pretty cool that they made that little connection. They didn't actually establish that his name comes from that creature, because the book actually never gets to that point, of course, where he becomes a Sith. It only takes you to the point of him leaving the Jedi Order, which is actually its own interesting thing in itself, because I actually almost expected to read about how Dooku, becomes a Sith Lord, similar to the moments that we get with Sidious and Maul or something in the Darth Plagueis book or whatever, right? You know, some direct connection. And we didn't really get that. You only really got the seeds planted that he kind of was kind of conspiracizing with Palpatine. I guess.
Because at the end of the book, and if we're not talking about spoilers, at the end of the book, she says, "Oh, the man in the hood," and you're like, "I want to know more about that."
yeah, that's right. You're like, "Oh, I know what that man in the hood is."
Yeah, he says he's changing you. He's making you.
Yeah,
on the evil side.
yeah, absolutely. It was really well dramatized too. Like the cast is about 7 or 8 people large or something.
Yeah, the only thing that threw me was the DOOKU's voice.
Oh yeah, that was very distracting sometimes.
Yeah, it didn't sound like. Well, it's very hard to sound like Christopher Lee, but
yeah, it is. Yeah,
you could. I don't know why you could have got the guy from Clone Wars. Maybe
that would have been. Yeah. That would have been amazing if they had the two from Clone Wars, like and Nikki. What's her last name again? Futterman or something. Who plays Ventress in the show. Yeah. It would have been really cool if they brought back her as well to play Ventress, because she plays a bit of a part in the story.
Yeah. It's probably too expensive.
yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, it was interesting when they announced that story though. It was an interesting lineup an interesting item to the lineup that they had going. I didn't really.
It kind of came out of the blue.
Yeah, it did. It really did. Yeah. Like I didn't expect also to get Clone Wars related material that took place outside of the legacy of the Clone Wars project that they had, to bring it back. Yeah, because you know how Dark Disciple was a part of that whole.
Yeah, and son of Dathomir.
Yeah, it was all part of like the continuity of the Clone Wars continuing novel form or whatever. I was kind of surprised to see that that project is kind of more or less done or dead or whatever you want to call it, but yeah, this story kind of came out of nowhere, and it really took me by surprise. I was like, oh wow, like
they just announced it, and then they were like, oh, it comes out in like 3 weeks. I was like, all right,
yeah
all right, okay.
Yeah, no, it was super cool. I was listening to it at work, and I smashed through it in like 2 days, and yeah, I think I'll do it again just because it's so good. So, did you do the audio one, or did you read the script?
I listened to the audio novel to start with, and then I got a voucher for a birthday, and I bought the book as well, because the actual book's really beautiful, like the cover and all that.
Yeah, I took a look at the store. It's fantastic. It's a really nice hardcover.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. No, I just before today, I had to scroll down your feed just to see like what else you had on there, and I saw some really cool photo of like your bookshelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I need to buy some more, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's starting to come to the end.
Well, you can get this big thing at IKEA, which the Calyx.
Yeah.
With all the cubbies in it. That's what I use for my books. I have like the entire top row of cubbies filled out in mine. It's fantastic. Yeah. But
I love reading the Star Wars books.
Yeah,
it just adds more to the films, and that, and I really enjoy it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like it's the one thing that I think compared to any other franchise out there, Star Wars books. Whenever I talk about it with somebody who's not like a hardcore fan, they don't tend to understand that the books aren't based off the movies, and the movies aren't really based off the books. They kind of like weave in and out of each other. It's like a cohesive story. Yeah, so it's actually a good thing for people to. That might be listening that haven't really gone into any Star Wars books yet. Like it's a really cool way to explore Star Wars outside of the films, but still maintain that same canon and continuity, but just get different stories and learn about other characters and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really good. But
definitely,
did you ever collect any toys as a kid?
I used to collect the Black Series not long ago, but then it was getting so expensive. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, I have a few of them myself.
Some are really cool.
Yeah, I try to get the ones that I think might be a little more valuable in the future. Or
definitely,
yeah. I went to Celebration 2017 and I got that the pilot Luke Skywalker. from the.
Oh yeah, I wanted one of them, but
Yeah,
I really did. Yeah, it's really cool. The shiny.
Yeah, the
one.
shiny,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
shiny
really cool,
back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
super
was
cool.
really
Yeah. So I got that one, and then on Amazon at one point, I ordered the Captain Rex Phase 2 from the Hasbro convention.
I have that one. Yeah, I've got that. I've got that
Oh, you
figure.
did get that one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good grab. Did you get that from the convention yourself, or did you have
No,
to?
we have a big sci-fi chain store in this country called Forbidden Planet, and
Okay.
they got a bunch of them in, and then I went up to there's the nearest ones at Newcastle. I went up there on the day and bought one.
Oh, okay. So
Because
what does Forbidden Planet? Is it exclusively like comic books and collectible stuff, or?
basically, yeah, it's basically a massive comic book store. They sell everything though, they sell like stuff for Stranger Things and all that type of stuff. But it's everything.
Oh
It's a big,
yeah.
massive
Okay.
chain store. They haven't got that many, but every major city has probably got one.
Oh, interesting. I'm gonna have to take a. The last time I was in England was 2016. I was there, and I went to that studio tour at the Warner Brothers lot.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet. Did you do that, or?
No, I've never done that. No, I've meaning to do stuff like that, but it's just finding the time.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's very confusing for Forbidden Planet because there's two, and they're both named the same, but they're not the same company. It's very strange
Oh, weird.
because one Forbidden Planet's not very good, and the other one's good. It's very strange how they're both called the same thing.
You know
Weird.
what happened? Probably one of the companies didn't copyright the name, and then the other one jumped on it.
Definitely, yeah.
And then the other ones were just grandfathered into the title, I guess.
Because there's another one in Middlesbrough, which is not far from where I live, and I was like, oh, this Forbidden Planet's not very good. I was like, oh, do you have this figure in you saw at Newcastle? I'm like, oh, that's the different company, mate, with not the same company. I'm like, what? I was like, that's weird. All right, I didn't know that.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's
Oh, Did you ever read Master and Apprentice by any chance?
I did. I loved it. Yeah,
You did?
I loved
Okay,
that one,
AJ's
yeah.
read this. AJ's read this book,
Yeah.
and I actually haven't read it yet. But yeah, AJ, just talk a little bit about this book. You haven't really said too much.
Yeah, it was a nice echo. I just loved how they just kind of dove into the relationship between Dooku and Qui-Gon, and just seeing that different part of it of how they were studying the Sith holocron and how that had kind of led me to believe that's where Dooku went down the kind of led to him joining the dark side, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
definitely,
did you get that connection, Ian, when you listened to Dooku Jedi Lost?
Yeah, I did definitely. Yeah, because there's a part in Master and Apprentice where Qui-Gon's being held captive by a bounty hunter, and it's strongly implied that Dooku used Force lightning when he was a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. They get sent to capture a bounty hunter, and the bounty hunter gets to jump on Qui-Gon, and all of a sudden,
Oh, yeah. Was this was in Dooku Jedi Lost?
yeah, this is in Master and Apprentice.
Or Master and
Master and
Apprentice?
Apprentice,
Okay, Master
yeah.
and Apprentice. Yeah, no, I that's really interesting. Wow.
Yeah, he uses well, it doesn't. I don't think it comes out right and says it, but it heavily implies that he uses Force lightning. And this is when he's still in the Jedi Order.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this is when Qui-Gon is just a Padawan.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
he's definitely doing things as a Jedi that he probably shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit like Anakin, before he kind of goes bad. You just always dipping his foot in that water,
Killing Tusken Raiders and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
That should have been a red flag, really, shouldn't it?
Constantly. I was actually watching an episode of Clone Wars the other day with Diego. He's another host on the show, and we got to that one where it's early on in the first season when Plo Koon is talking to those clones in that escape pod, which gets ejected from that massive ship that gets blown up by
The Malevolence.
yes,
The Malevolence,
yes.
yeah, is it?
Yeah, and he has a line which is always really kind of stuck with me, where he says that he values the clone's life more than essentially more than finding that ship, which is the malevolence, because they're hunting it down kind of thing. And one of the clones says that, if he was in charge, he would be hunting down that ship right now, rather than coming to rescue a couple of, meaningless clones. And Plo Koon really makes it clear. It's like, no, like your life is more important to me than finding that ship. And that was a really solid moment as a Jedi, I think, to say something like that, just to say that they valued the life of a clone, which is one of maybe millions in the galaxy, over finding this ship, which is essentially just the mission.
Definitely,
so, yeah. Just to value life over the mission itself,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like that whole malevolence arc. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
I like the first episode's good as well, with Yoda, where he tells the clones to take off their helmet and he's like, "You're all different" and all that. That was a good.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, so it's very clear in the first season, a few times at least. Yeah, that's a good point. Where it's like the Jedi really value life and value the clones. Anakin does value the clones quite a bit, and he cares for them quite a lot. But he definitely has no attachments to not preserving life.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The amount of times we've seen threaten somebody or just straight up kill somebody, like what was the guy's name? He was about to blow up that ship in the Mandalore.
I know this as well. I've watched this not long ago. Minister Jarek.
Oh yeah, that sounds familiar.
Is it Minister Jarek or something? Yeah,
Minister
Jarek.
So Mr. Jarek. Yeah. Oh no, wait. No. Oh, actually, no. Minister Jarek is he appeared in a hologram. He served as deputy minister to New Mandalorian government Duchess Satine.
Was it Pre-Vizsla?
Pre-Vizsla? No, it's he kind of had like a hood turban on.
I can't remember his name now.
Yeah, I can't remember his name at the moment, but he had that. I actually laughed quite a bit every time I watch it. I just let out one because it's just so funny to see him, straight up say, "Okay, like who will strike first?" and call themselves a cold-blooded killer as he's standing off against Satine and Obi-Wan, and then this lightsaber just comes right through his chest and drops dead to the floor, and Anakin's standing right behind him, and he says, like, "What? He was gonna blow up the ship."
Feels like no emotion. He's just like, yeah. Like sounds.
Yeah, he's like, call it a day.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I would like to get more books with Anakin in it. We haven't had enough novels with Anakin.
No, I liked him in Thrawn Alliances. That was good.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did get that one. That was a good book. I actually really liked that one. There wasn't too many people who enjoyed that though.
I really enjoyed it. I liked the image of Hayden Christensen actually in the Clone Wars outfit.
Yeah, that was super cool.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, I'm still waiting for an action figure that looks like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, other than that book, have there been any others that he's been in?
Anakin, I'm trying to think. I can't remember one off the top of my head, to be fair.
Yeah, no, back in the day, I really enjoyed the Jedi Quest series. Did you read those?
I didn't. I haven't read that. I'm not as well versed in Legends as I am in canon. It's just I've never really read them as a kid.
Yeah. Okay. You sound more like me then, because as a kid, I read those books and the Jedi Apprentice books and all the Scholastic stuff, right? But since the Disney era, Scholastic really hasn't published a whole lot under the Star Wars label, if anything. I think maybe like 4 books or something like that, or maybe 5.
Yeah,
I don't even know if those are Scholastic or just Disney Publishing or not. But I really enjoyed those books back in the day. But then when they made this whole canon movement, I really jumped on that bandwagon and thought like, oh yeah, now's my chance to start buying them up as they come out. Stay on top of the story, all that stuff. It seems like that's what you're doing.
It's just, there's just so many. I really do try, but sometimes it's hard to keep on top of things. Sometimes I'll buy one and then another one will come out and I haven't a chance to read it, so I'll have to go back and read another one. Yeah,
absolutely. Do you like buying like props of some kind? Like you mentioned you kind of bought a few of those Black Series. But is there anything like the Hasbro Black Series, like Stormtrooper helmet or
I've got the
anything like
Kylo
that?
Ren helmet.
Okay, how do you like that one?
Yeah, I bought that before. Did that come out before The Force Awakens? I think I bought it before The Force Awakens.
So.
I think I thought it just looked cool. To be
Yeah. Have you got any others of those since?
just I've got the Luke Skywalker Black Series lightsaber, and that's about it.
Okay, all right. I bought one of those, the Anakin Skywalker, back in 2005 when they were still being made by Master Replicas.
Oh yeah, they were really cool then.
Yeah. It's interesting that Hasbro basically took up the torch and started making the same product. But I did a side-by-side comparison at one point, and it's almost exactly the same.
Yeah,
it's
the Black Series.
Very close. Yeah.
Luke one's really really cool.
Is that episode 5 or?
It's
or is it
Luke,
it's
Luke Skywalker episode 5. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So it's the blue Skywalker saber.
Anakin's lightsaber, Luke's lightsaber, and now Rey's lightsaber.
It's so confusing.
Everyone's lightsaber.
Yeah, it's the everyone lightsaber. Yeah, we should just call it the shared lightsaber.
Yeah.
Oh man, cool. Well, what's the next book that you're planning to dive into?
Resistance Reborn. I can't wait for that one. I've read a few of the excerpts for it, and have you read any of the excerpts they've released?
No, I haven't. No.
It's just some of the characters they bring. Like, did you play the Battlefront campaign?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, Zay Versio.
Yeah, it was. Or sorry, what was her name again?
Zay Versio, Iden Versio's daughter, who's in the add-on.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She
is she in this book?
She gets a mention, yeah, and there's a few others. Shriv from Battlefront 2.
Yeah,
he gets a mention. There is what I've seen, and there's another excerpt I read as well where General Raikin from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
He shows up to help the Resistance.
Oh, that's cool. So is it kind of the stepping stones to what the Rise of Skywalker is going to be?
Yeah, I think Matt Martin said it's basically how they go from 12 people on the Millennium Falcon to where we see them, however we see them in Episode 9.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's kind of cool that they have a bit of an explanation there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because you got a year to fill between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
I found that the spacing of this trilogy is just really close together. I kind of wish it was further apart, you know.
I'm not overly like a fan of like the distance between The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. I think it makes it feel like the whole trilogy happened over a weekend, which is
absolutely, yeah.
And that's not. I'm not saying I don't like The Last Jedi. I do like The Last Jedi. It's just it's too close for me. But I still like both films.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a tough one because it's like I want to love everything that Star Wars is, and yet sometimes I do find it's a hard pill to swallow, those films.
You can't love everything. Like The Last Jedi for me, and I'm not in either camp where people say it's either the worst film ever or the best film ever. For me, it's all right. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
For me,
yeah, it is what it is.
There's certain stuff I like, and there's certain stuff I'm like, oh, okay, but I don't go on the internet and berate people who like it or berate people who don't like it.
Yeah, that's Do you were you kind of on top of the news and things that came out about George's trilogy that was kind of planned and then discarded, and like what's your thoughts on that, and would you have watched those films?
I would have watched them, completely.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sure. Like, it's always George Lucas, because George Lucas created everything. And without George Lucas, we wouldn't be here talking about Star Wars. But just because he had an idea for a trilogy doesn't mean they have to go that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like The Force Awakens, and I can see why some people would say it's a rehash of A New Hope. I can see that, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But
it was very successful in the public opinion, that's for sure. Like it really does a great job at hitting that nostalgia button. Quite a bit.
Because it was the first Star Wars film in 10 years, and we never thought, like, after Revenge of the Sith, I don't think anyone thought we'd ever get another Star Wars film.
Yeah, totally.
So I remember coming out the cinema, because I went to the midnight screening, because I was definitely going to that, and I was like, wow, that blew me away.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, like at the very least, with the sequels, it's better than nothing.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. It's better than nothing for sure. But the spin-offs have taken me by surprise. Over the years, I've been pleasantly surprised by Rogue One and Solo. You know, both of which I didn't have super high expectations for, and then when I saw them, I was like, oh my goodness, that's fantastic.
I love Rogue One.
Yeah.
The last 45 minutes of Rogue One. I like the whole film, but the last 45 minutes of Rogue One is probably my favourite Star Wars film ever. The last 45 minutes. My favourite one's Empire Strikes Back, but the last 45 minutes of Rogue One are just pure chaos.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Oh, they do a great job. Oh,
and Solo was great as well.
Yeah, Solo was very good. I actually
really enjoyed Solo,
I wasn't expecting much just due to all the chaos that happened behind the scenes, but it was it was a very good film. Like, you know,
I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
And I love the risks that they took too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because
Darth Maul and everything.
Yeah, having Darth Maul in the end is because obviously for us who are hardcore fans, we all know he survives and he goes on the Clone Wars. But people, they must have thought, didn't he die? And
a lot of the regular viewers must have been really thrown off by that. But it just goes to show though how broad the canon is to be able to point to a TV cartoon and essentially say, hey, you know, if you want to find out what happens, watch that. Yeah,
definitely, yeah, because I didn't see it coming. I heard rumors that he'd be in it, but I was thinking, oh, there's no way. There's too much of a weird, not weird, but it's not like well known enough for like the normal people, like normal movie going people. They'd be like, what's that? But yeah, I was really surprised. I love Darth Maul as well. Yeah,
especially after coming off the backs of Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, and you know, just basically just films that actually, you know, Last Jedi not so much, but I mean, Disney's been very playing it safe in a way.
Yeah, that's a fair.
And just to assume that they would drop Darth Maul in Solo of all movies, it just didn't seem possible at the time.
And ever since that's happened now, that's all I want. I want to find out what happened after that now.
Well, since they've done that, I have a much higher tolerancy for taking grains of salt and thinking, hey, well, it could still be possible that they do this because they did drop Maul in Solo.
Yeah, I'm hoping they do it. I saw a rumor about a Disney Plus show. I'm hoping that's the truth.
Oh, yeah, which one is that?
No, it was just a rumor about a Disney Plus show about Maul and Crimson Dawn and all that type of thing.
Oh yeah, I did see that rumor. Yeah, did you see that rumor, AJ?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool rumor. I hope that does come to light. Like I don't need to see Solo on the screen again. Alden did a great job at convincing me after 5 minutes, and that the movie was fantastic, and that was all I needed. But the questions that it left unanswered, basically about Kira and Crimson Dawn and Maul and all that, and how that all fits together. It would be super cool to get like a micro series of some kind on Disney Plus about all that.
Yeah, definitely, because he goes from running Crimson Dawn, which in one of the visual dictionaries says it's on the same size as like the Hutt cartel and all that. He goes from running that to being stranded on Malachor, where we see him in Rebels.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's a reason.
Drastic jump. Yeah, it's a story that's not yet told, which I'm sure we'll get eventually. But
because I definitely think in Rebels, when Darth Vader comes to Malachor, Darth Maul says, "Oh, I can't defeat Vader alone." And to me, they must have had a confrontation, because that doesn't sound like Darth Maul. He's normally quite arrogant. So to me, it makes me think that him and Darth Vader have crossed paths. Oh
yeah, that's a good point.
And it probably didn't go very well for Darth Maul.
That's interesting. Yeah, because in the expanded universe, was there a comic where they had that? It was like a kind of like a what if story where Vader faced off against Maul.
I don't remember reading that, but I'm pretty sure there is probably one out there.
Yeah, it was. Let me Google this. This is gonna bother me. Yeah, if it's, Darth Vader versus Darth Maul comic. if you Google that, there's a whole bunch of like panels, comic panels on Google Images. But yeah, it was an interesting story that got brought out at the time. This was years ago now that they had this, but just super cool, like a what if story of like if Maul faced down Vader, what would happen kind of thing. And the Emperor was there, and I think it was like a test or something, or for Vader, he said Maul had died, and essentially wants him just to kill him off, just to maintain his position as the apprentice sort of thing.
Yeah, it sounds like a very Darth Sidious type of thing to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I forget if I asked this or not, but what's the next book Resistance Reborn.
Yeah, Resistance Reborn. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So now, do you own that or?
No, it's not out until in mid-November or some point. I'm not sure.
Oh,
when.
okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you never know with the UK. Maybe thought it might be out a month early
my
again.
bookstore always gives me stuff early. I don't know why. I don't think they realise it's not meant to be out. I don't tell them either. I'm like, oh, thanks.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of cool, actually. Are you on a list or something?
No, I just I order them online and it just get delivered to me bookstore because delivery's free. You don't have to pay for delivery. Yeah. And then they like email me like a week before. They're like, oh yeah, it's ready to pick up. So I'm like, oh, thank you.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Do you stay on top of the comics pretty well?
I try to, but at the moment it's hard because there's so many.
Yeah, there is. I wish there was a way to read them, before because I tend to wait until the trade publish comes out, like the volume.
I try and get a few of them. I've got the Darth Vader ones because the Darth Vader ones are really, really good. Oh yeah,
those are fantastic. The Charles Soule, is it?
Yeah, it was Charles Soule. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so good. AJ hasn't read any of the comics, but I've been trying to push him onto the comic side of things. So.
Are you reading the main Star Wars one at the moment?
I am and I'm not. It's kind of the thing where the last one that I got was a year ago, so I'm quite far behind. I think I'm on volume 5 or 6 or something like that. I've read all that I got, but it's been a while since I've actually like gone to the store and bought one. And time has just gone by, and now I go into the store and there's like 10 of them in there.
Yeah, definitely. It's just this current arc. It's going into the Empire Strikes Back, and then obviously Charles Soule takes over the main Star Wars comic, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and this time I hope it's not as long.
No, it has been going. This last arc that's happening now, I'm not really enjoying. To be fair, it's not great.
It's wait, is this the
latest arc? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that the last one then of the current series?
Yeah. Then they all reboot next year.
Oh, okay. All right. What's going on in that one?
It's there's 3 plots going on. Luke is on a planet with a smuggler type woman. Chewbacca and C-3PO are on a planet. They were going to blow up an uninhabited planet, but then found out it was inhabited, and then Darth Vader's arrived, and then Leia and Han Solo are in another planet, and they're trying to frame a crime boss to take down the Empire. Yeah, it's not. I'm not overly keen on this arc. Like the main Star Wars comic. It's been a bit hit and miss. Like some ones I really like the Jedi one I liked.
Yeah.
And the Hope Dies arc I like, but some of them they're a bit weird. I'm like, oh, okay, but it's all right.
Did you find it started off pretty strong, or has it just gone down?
I liked it. Yeah. No, I did. There's been peaks and valleys. It's the same with any comic book, really.
Yeah. I find the Star Wars books, at least in the canon, it's been a lot more successful with the miniseries.
Yes,
like those miniseries have been really, really well done. Like the Darth Vader series was good, the limited run. I quite enjoyed that first mini Lando series that they did.
Yeah,
did you ever read that?
Yeah. That was Charles Soule as well. Yeah, that was.
Oh, was it? Okay, yeah. No, that one was fantastic. I actually really enjoyed seeing that. There was an interesting. I don't read a whole lot of comic books. Like the only comic books I've read are pretty much just Star Wars comic books. But it was the first one that I picked up, and I actually laughed at some of the moments. Just it's quite entertaining.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and you've read Charles Soule's Darth Vader run?
Yeah, I own that one too. Yeah,
that's the first time that Lord Mommin's helmet turned up. It's in Palpatine's ship in that Lando comic series.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Where else does it? Is it it's in the Darth Vader series and it's in the Lando comics? Did they bring it back at some point? I think I remember hearing about that they brought it back again recently. Or is that the new? That's the new series, isn't it? Is it the new Dark Lord of the Sith series? Or are you talking about the old?
That's the Dark Lord of the Sith one I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. It's cool that they do that. They make those connections even within the comics. It's just it's fantastic. The story group does a great job about linking those things up.
They're on top of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, hey, thanks for calling in, Ian. That's
it's fun,
so cool to have you. And like you're one of the few people that I think I've come across that has really stayed on top of all this stuff and seems to know the canon quite well. Other than AJ. Yeah, you do try. Hey, well, the investment pays off. It really shows. Yeah.
Thank you for having me on. And I've never done anything like this, so I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, you're actually the first guest too. So yeah.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Yeah. Anytime you want to come on again, stay in touch, and we'd love to have you on again about whatever you're reading and whatever else. So
definitely.
Yeah,
sure.
Cool. Thanks a lot, man. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, there he goes.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So that was cool.
That was.
Yeah.
Very informative.
Hey Ian, thank you so much for joining us right here in Star Wars Escape Pod. It was so great to have you call in and talk about Star Wars literature and Star Wars, the books, the comics. You're one of the few people that stays on top of the canon the way you do. And it's just my pleasure to have you on the show, and looking forward to the next time that we're able to chat all about this stuff again. So thank you so much for your time and coming on. It was such a pleasure. And a big thank you to AJ, my co-host for the episode today. I've been bugging him for ages to get on the show, and he's been semi-reluctant until now. It was a subject that interested him. He keeps on top of the Star Wars books as well, so it's cool to get this little book club going. If that's one you want to call it, or somewhat of a book review. That's kind of up their alley. So both of them, big thank you so much for coming on Star Wars Escape Pod. New Star Wars trailer drops tonight, October 21st, 2019. That's an official trailer, full length. It will probably most likely be announcing when tickets will be available. So if you don't want to be spoiled by a new trailer, avoid the internet like the plague, but do a bit of research or get the news through somebody else when your tickets are going to be available, because if you're going with a large party, you're going to want to pre-order those. So thank you again for listening. Thanks AJ and Ian for joining us. I'm your host, Josh, and may the Force be with you, especially buying those tickets. Thanks again.